How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? David James Osterguy here, and tonight we have a really cool topic: LinkedIn leads made easy. I've been buying several products on using LinkedIn and stuff like that, and it's one of those things where this is my personal story on how I've been able to get leads using LinkedIn, and I wanted to share it with everybody because it's been quite a while since I've done any sort of webinar. So let's get started. And please bear with me because with running GoToWebinar and my PowerPoint presentation, sometimes it runs a little slow, so I'm trying to get to the next slide. So it usually happens in the beginning, and then we're good to go after that. So a little bit about me. My name is David James Osterguy. I've been involved with online marketing for close to 5 years, and I got into search engine optimization because I was tired of working a full-time job for somebody else, and at that time I needed some extra money. So what I did was I learned how to build websites and get them to rank in the top of the search engines, just doing basic affiliate marketing. And it was funny because by just doing SEO on my own websites and building just basic WordPress sites on a part-time basis, I was actually making close to $4,000 a month in affiliate commission. And I mean, I was on top of the world because I didn't know the first thing about internet marketing. And the first product I bought was something from Brian Johnson, and it taught me how to build websites using WordPress. And I didn't know what affiliate marketing was. I started building a bunch of these sites, and I just started bringing in more and more income. And it was great because this was the first time that I actually had income coming in besides having to work a dead-end 9-to-5 job. So after a while, I decided I wanted to start doing SEO for customers. And within 90 days, I actually had more customers than I knew what to do with. And so what happened was I met with another SEO consultant, which he has over 12 years of SEO experience, and we both teamed up. And we started to find some of the biggest and the baddest online experts that could offer the most amazing service around. And now we have over 40 customers that we've improved their business and their return of investment. We have a ton of success stories. We have very happy clients. And when the Google Panda and Penguin update happened, only 2 of our customers were actually affected. So we were happy with that because I know quite a few internet marketers or SEO consultants where all of their clients were just buried because of that. And it was terrible, and I felt really bad for them. So what have I been up to lately? Because I've been quiet, I haven't been doing webinars. I've been focusing on new ways to generate leads for our SEO business. And I always knew that there was a lot of potential in LinkedIn. But the thing is, I didn't know how to use it. When I had a 9-to-5 job, everybody told me, be sure to have a LinkedIn account because that's where you're going to find your next job. And I didn't even know what LinkedIn was at the time. So I created an account, and just because people told me to, and I had no idea what to do with it. So anyway, let's fast forward. I started to check out a bunch of internet marketing products about LinkedIn, lead generation, and LinkedIn this and LinkedIn that. And what I did is I took bits and pieces of everything that I got from those manuals and videos and stuff like that, and I started to apply the methods. And what I learned was not to expect miracles just from the get-go. So when you start with your LinkedIn account and you start adding friends and you start getting to know people, don't expect them to just all of a sudden jump on the David train and have them sign up for a year worth of SEO or anything like that, because it doesn't really work that way. With any lead generation system, you have to build trust. That's the really most important thing. Does everyone agree with me on that? So because you see a lot of these products, and people are some of the people are saying that you're going to get this many clients and you're going to get this and that and that. And I mean, it's all about how much time you invest in networking on LinkedIn and building that trust. So, and then once you build that trust and they come to you, you're going to have to talk to them on the phone. And I know a lot of people are really like freaked out about calling somebody on the phone. And I totally understand, because I'm not much of a phone person myself. Like if it was up to me, seriously, I would have it set up where like I never have to talk to any clients or any potential customers, and everything would be done online, okay? Everything would be done through email. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because business is all about talking on the phone and even meeting up in person. So there are times you have to meet them in person. So a potential customer of mine lives out in Temecula, which is probably about 120 miles away. But we told her that we're going to come out and we want to meet with her, because the thing is, nobody else is going out to Temecula. Nobody else is driving 100-something miles. But the thing is, this person has a lot of business just sitting there. And nobody's willing to drive out to see her. So we told her that we'd go out there, and we would meet with her. And so now we've been talking, and it looks like she's going to start working with us, and she's going to hand over a couple of her clients to us for search engine optimization. And then if she likes what we have, she's going to keep sending us more and more people. So I mean, that's great. So how many people know Greig Wells, and how many people have purchased the Greig Wells LinkedIn product? So I purchased this product. This was the first product I purchased on LinkedIn. Kathy said yes. Yeah, she purchased it, and I really liked this. To me, this was an amazing system. Greig Wells has this really great LinkedIn lead generation system, and in the sales page he says he closes over 40 clients a month. And so, and I'm not saying that he's not, because since I'm selling SEO, it's much harder to close 40 customers a month, because it's taken me months of building trust with people. And Greig has a system set up where he's helping people to find a new job, and he offers training courses and things like that. So closing over 40 clients a month is realistic if you're offering a service where it's some sort of training or something like that. Since I'm offering SEO, it's a bit harder, but now I'm closing about 2 customers a month. And I work on LinkedIn maybe, I don't know, a few hours a week, if that. So it's really good. So yeah, and my goal is to close 4 customers a month, so which is pretty realistic, because right now I'm closing 2, and in the coming months I'm set to close at least 4 a month. And as I continue with this system, what happens is I begin meeting more and more people online, and they come to me for SEO advice. Okay, and hopefully down the line, they'll come to me for SEO when they're ready. So there's a lot of customers out there, or people I'm networking with, that they need SEO, but they just don't need it right now. Okay? So it's all about building their trust. And this is a sad fact. And it's roughly 85% of our customers have previously been burned by other SEO companies. And that's really sad. But I mean, it's true though, and if you do SEO, I'm sure you have quite a few customers as well that have been burned by other SEO people as well. Am I correct? How many people do SEO? Just say I do, or yes. I see quite a few. All right, excellent. Some people do social media. Rico says he does SEO. Excellent. So they hired an SEO company, and what happened is that they never got the results that they were looking for. A lot of times these people, these customers, or sorry, these SEO businesses will lock them into a 6-month contract or something like that, and they don't really get the results, and they're locked in this contract, and they can't get out for a while. So, but we have one new customer that we just signed a couple weeks ago that showed us the results that the previous SEO company was giving them, and sent the report over to me. And it really made me angry and upset that they were being screwed that bad, because what it was funny, because he showed me, he said, yeah, they're doing a really good job. We're ranking #1 for so-and-so keyword. But the thing is, you do a little keyword research and you see that nobody searches for that keyword. And he doesn't know, because our client doesn't know SEO. So he doesn't know, and it's not a keyword that they were targeting. It just so happened they fell into first place, and they decided to put it in the report. So it was really sad. So if you're an SEO consultant, you're going to have to work a lot harder than others to build trust on LinkedIn. And be sure to stay patient and try to help any way you can, because I promise you it will pay off. So tonight's discussion, we're going to go over how to get 500 LinkedIn connections in less than a week. I actually want to change that to 2 weeks, because you don't want to rush it too quickly, but I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to go over some tips and some things to do to your LinkedIn profile, so that way it stands out a lot more, and there's a lot more call to action. I'm also going to go over LinkedIn SEO. And that one's really good, because people actually search for specific keywords to try to find people to help them with whatever. So, for example, like somebody could go to LinkedIn and type Los Angeles SEO and see who comes up. So, also some of the outsourcing problems I had using this system, and of course, after a while you want to outsource it because you start getting more leads and stuff, but I was having a lot of problems, and I'll go over exactly why I was having these problems and some of the obstacles I ran into on LinkedIn, and it's kind of a big one. So I'm going to give you these pointers so that way you could kind of watch out for these things, and you'll know what to do when it happens. So also some personal conversations I had with LinkedIn, and getting leads from LinkedIn groups, and the best part of all, using automated webinars to generate leads. So let me get into a little LinkedIn demographics here. LinkedIn has over 150 million users and continue to get bigger and bigger by the year. LinkedIn has grown by 45% since 2011, and 39% of the members are managers. They're directors. They're owners. They're chief operators. They're vice president of this company. They're big name people. They're decision makers. And 49% of the people on LinkedIn have a household income of $100,000 annually, which I don't know what the other 51% would be, but I would assume, there's a good portion of people that make well over $100,000 annually, because some of the people I've met up with have some good amount of money. So let's talk about your profile and making adjustments to your profile, things like that. I'm not going to get into this is where you add your name and this is where you add your email address, but because it's pretty self-explanatory creating a LinkedIn profile. But for starters, be sure to fill out your LinkedIn account completely. So how many people have their LinkedIn account filled out 100%, completely filled out? Okay, I do. Okay, some people say yes, some people are saying no. Okay, excellent, excellent. So what you want to do, you want to add any training, internet marketing courses, or other things to the education section if you don't have a degree. And the thing is, I don't have a degree, so it was one of those things where that was the part that I was leaving out. Lavana says she has hers filled out about 70%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, the one thing that I didn't have filled out was education because I don't have any degrees that show, something awesome. But I do have some college experience, though. And so I added that. And also, any internet marketing training that you've had, any courses you've taken on, Excel spreadsheets or building a website or whatever, that stuff helps. So this is how I made my account stand out. You see those triangles there? That really, really makes it stand out. And this is also a bit of keyword stuffing as well on LinkedIn, which I'll get into all of that. But yeah, just adding that simple little triangle that points to SEO expert, search engine optimization specialist, Los Angeles SEO, reputation management. That really makes it stand out. And in the description, this is how I have it. In the summary, I put connect with me with any SEO questions at, there's those triangles again, right? They're pointing to my email address, david@freshrankings.com. And then below it, I mention my webinar. I put join my webinar, what you need to know about SEO at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. today. Reserve your webinar seat now at blah, blah, blah. I add a line. I put all invitations to connect are welcomed. So what does that mean? That means that I'm not going to turn people away. Okay, if you want to connect with me, then just send me a message or send a LinkedIn invite. And then I added a cool little quote here from Albert Einstein. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I like it, so I added it. And then I put business owners below here. I put connect with me because I can help increase traffic to your website and help you increase sales. For my LinkedIn connections, I'm offering a free SEO report on what things could be done to your website to increase traffic to your site. And the thing is with this, I can actually get rid of this because nobody really follows up. They don't want this free report. But what they are interested in, some of them, a good amount of them, are interested in my webinar. And they ask me questions about it. They say, oh, is there a replay on that webinar? I didn't have a chance to go there. And then down here, I put, are you a business owner, marketer, entrepreneur? I'll help you increase your website traffic and help increase sales with the help of search engine optimization, PPC, social media, local SEO, and reputation management. Connect with me here. There's those arrows again. Okay, real basic stuff, but really, really cool, and it stands out. And it also has a call to action, too. Connect with me. Email me here with those arrows. The arrows, join me on the webinar. Every day, 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m., call to action. And then below that, what I do is I add keywords. Okay? So first I say, when you connect with me, I'll respond to you personally with tips on how to increase online sales. Keywords, right below it. You just type them in there. And what that does is this is going to help your profile stand out for specific keywords. Glory has a question on the keyboard. Are the arrows the less than or greater than symbol? Actually, it's a code that I found. I would go to Google and just type like arrow code. Does anyone know what that code is called by any chance? I should have looked it up. So usually I just grab the code from. It's not HTML. Oh boy, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, if you go to Google and just type arrows for like WordPress or something like that, it should be able to come up. And then usually all I do is I copy them and I paste them. So like real simple. So another thing I do for job titles and description, I optimize for the keywords too. So for job experience, I work at fresh rankings, search engine optimization, and sales. And then when you get into your previous jobs, what I do is I go previous, and then I add, it's the same company, but I add this keyword, Los Angeles SEO. And then I go to previous jobs again, and I put SEO Los Angeles, and I add some of the keywords in the descriptions. See, there's SEO, local SEO, social media, PPC, reputation management. So what you're doing is you're keyword stuffing. So, okay. Going back here, at the very top, I have the keywords here, right? And with those arrows. In the description, I have it set up like that. Then I have the keywords below the description. Then in the job titles and descriptions, I add some more keywords. Okay? And then what I do below that, when it comes to adding your website, a lot of people, what they do, is it called character map? Jesse's asking. Are you talking about the arrows, Jesse? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It could be character map. So, yeah, because usually, like, all you have to do is just go to Google and type, arrows for WordPress, or diamonds for WordPress, or something like that. Because there was a whole bunch of them where it's like arrows, there's diamonds, you can make smiley faces, things like that. So, and okay, so when you add this is what it's called. Okay, thank you, Jesse. He said it's called the character map. Okay, thanks. It's a wingding font. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So yeah, so for websites, a lot of people, what they do is they just add their website, and then it just says click here or whatever. It's in the default of LinkedIn. But what you could do, you can make special adjustments. And so that way you just add your website, the HTTP www. It just makes it stand out a lot more, and it makes people want to click on it more. Because the thing is, with the whole thing where it says click here to go to the site or whatever, it's kind of cheesy and generic. So you could, there's a way that you could set it up where you could just customize it, and you could add your actual URL there. So the question is, why did I set it up like this? And when I was talking about people are searching for you, or searching for people, what they do is they go into LinkedIn, and in the top right where it says people, I typed in Los Angeles SEO, and then you hit search, and what comes up is I'm right here in second place for Los Angeles SEO. That's the aha moment. Can you feel it? So people go and they search for people, and they type Los Angeles SEO, they type SEO California, they type things like that. Now I just have to outrank this Brandon Gale guy, because he's not even in California either. But there I am, and you see the arrows stand out. And you see this guy did the same thing too. He actually did it before me, so I copied it from seeing his profile. So, and the thing is, some people have asked me, well, do people really search on LinkedIn for specific people? Well, here's proof right here. Your profile has been viewed by 8 people in the past 3 days, and you've shown up in search results 33 times in the past 15 days. So people are searching. Okay? Pretty big, right? And here's proof that that they'll research you too, and not only just on LinkedIn, but they'll go to Google as well. I typed in David Ostaguy, and this was in Google Instant, and the search is related. David Ostaguy fresh rankings. Don't worry, this isn't me, David Ostaguy obituary. So, but David Ostaguy fresh rankings and SEO David Ostaguy. And the thing is, I mean, you know, how cool is that? That's showing that people are searching for you when they're finding your LinkedIn account. Then what you want to do is you could customize your URL. And the thing is, I haven't tried it out yet. Trying to get my LinkedIn account to rank for the keyword Los Angeles SEO, but that's going to be the next thing I'm going to work on. But what you do is you could customize it. I have it set up like this: linkedin.com/in/David Ostaguy Los Angeles SEO. I'll show you how to do that. This is how you customize it. So you go to settings on LinkedIn and you click edit your public profile. And in your public profile URL box, that's going to be on the right, you're going to click customize your public profile URL link. I've been told you can only do this once, so you know, be sure to do it right. And then you type the last part of your new custom URL in the text box, and you click set custom URL. And that's it. So, anybody have any questions so far on what I've covered? I'm going to get into adding some LinkedIn friends next. And if you get confused about customizing your URL or something like that, don't worry. You could go to YouTube and just type, you know, LinkedIn customize URL, and you could find a video about that. All right, I'm going to jump into it. Let's add LinkedIn friends. So what I did was I added 500 plus LinkedIn friends in 2 weeks using toplinked.com. How many people have used toplinked.com? Anybody? So what it is, it's free to use, and you can build a bunch of connections really quick. And I suggest not to build connections too quickly, because what happens is somebody they built 500 profiles, or they built 500 connections in 24 hours, and their account was limited. So LinkedIn can actually limit your account if you add people too quickly. So this is what it looks like. You go to toplinked.com and you click here to sign up. And then this is what it looks like after you're done. And then what you do is you click build your networks. You click it right here. And it's going to take you to the invite list. And all of these people, these are Excel sheets of people that want you to add them to your LinkedIn account. And each one, I believe, has 200 people. And they change them every day, too, which is amazing because, I mean, you're getting thousands of people that you could connect with for free, and it changes every day. It's amazing. So what you do is you just go and you click and you open the Excel spreadsheet. And then what you do, actually, let me back up for a second. Then you go on number 2, step 2, you put click here to go to the add connections page. And then it's going to take you to LinkedIn. And what you do is you click any email. And then you take the PDF and be sure to save it to your desktop or whatever. And what you do is you upload the PDF from TopLinked by going upload contact file. and then it uploads it, and then you're going to see all the names. They're going to come up, and then you just go to the bottom and you click OK about adding them. And I suggest just doing about just do maybe like one sheet, and then wait a couple days, and then do another sheet and wait a couple days, and do that within like 2 weeks time frame, because you don't want to have any of those red flags with LinkedIn and have them see that you added a whole bunch of people really quickly. So you want to make it look somewhat natural and add those connections. And the reason why you want 500 plus people, because what it does is it actually makes your LinkedIn world a lot bigger, because now you're able to find other people that are connected to other people as well, and those people start connecting with you, vice versa. So does that make sense? You want to have a lot of LinkedIn people, because some people they always tell me, they're like, well, I'm happy with the 25 people on my LinkedIn account because I personally know them and I've done business with them. But the thing is, you're really limiting yourself if you don't have those connections. Okay? So does that make sense, everybody? Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is creating groups. And to me, this was the big aha moment. This is what was actually helping me get those leads. The leads that I was talking about. And the thing is, I created various groups to generate leads. And what I did was I made the name of the group specific to what I was involved with. So for example, I named the group Join Now to find a Los Angeles SEO consultant that gets results for businesses. Okay, that's a really like long-winded name for a group, but it's very specific. Okay, call to action, I'm telling them to join now if they're interested in finding a Los Angeles SEO consultant. So if they're not looking for SEO in Los Angeles, they're not going to join my group, right? If somebody's been considering SEO, or their SEO person just quit on them, or they just fired them, and they see this group, they're probably going to join, and they're going to try to get to know me and see what I'm all about. So having the title specific like this is going to help you only get the people who are looking to hire an SEO consultant in Los Angeles. Okay, and the thing is, the majority of people, they may not be looking for SEO, and that's fine. You want to grab those people that are looking for SEO and have them join your group. So how to create a group, I'm not going to get into like really like heavy specifics here, but you just go to groups on LinkedIn and you click create a group. It's right here. And in the group settings, I always do this. In the membership section, I put auto join. And what that is when somebody wants to join your group, they're automatically accepted. Because you can set it up where you have to approve them, but I like it where it's automatic. Okay, and I'll show you why too as we continue on. So, and the thing is that's really cool about the LinkedIn groups is you can add a welcome message. So once somebody joins your group, what happens is they automatically receive an email from you. And it's like, hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining my group. Hey, I have a webinar about what you need to know about SEO, and this can actually save you thousands of dollars. Before hiring an SEO person, I highly suggest that you watch this webinar. Totally automated. Okay, and they're going to read it, and they're going to be like, oh, cool, okay. So they're either going to check it out or they're not. But what you do is you go in, you click templates, you click welcome message, auto send is on, you click edit template, and you add your email. Hey, how's it going? You know, so on and so forth, like I said before. And then the next step, this is what you're going to do. is you're going to begin joining other groups. And you're going to go to the members section in other groups, and you're going to send messages that invite the people to join your group. So, and you, of course, you want to make sure that you keep your group active all the time as well. So if I was to send a message, so I'm in a group and I click right here, send message, and I tell Donald, hey, how's it going, Donald? You and I are both part of the ABC group, and I've noticed that a lot of people in this group have been connecting to this group, so I'm sending you a pre-approved invitation. I hope you'll take my my invitation and join my group. Something like that, right? Oh yeah, Glory has a great question. She said, I have a free LinkedIn membership. Aren't there limitations for a number of emails that free members run into? Yeah, there's something called InMail, and you can only send, I believe, like 5 a month or whatever. But the thing is, with LinkedIn groups, you could go and you could send messages to people in the group for free. And you could do this over and over again. So that's what it's about. You know, you just go and you start inviting people to your group. And the thing is, you know, I get emails back from people, and it's so funny because they're so friendly on LinkedIn. People will email me back and they're like, hey, how is it going? Thanks for the invitation. I'm not interested in your group, but I just wanted to say hi, or, you know, thank you for the invite. It's really, really funny. Because, you know, would you get that on Facebook? No, people will just ignore you. Will you get that on Twitter? No, of course not. LinkedIn is a whole different network of people, and they're like super, super friendly. And, you know, some people, they email. I've sent probably, I don't even know, 60, 70, 80,000 of these invitations to people. And of course, every now and then you're going to have somebody that's upset that you sent it to them. And don't let that get you down. But the majority of people are always really, really happy that you even emailed them on LinkedIn. And sometimes it's funny because those people, you won't hear from them for like a month or two. And all of a sudden, you know, they're joining your group. So after they join my group, they receive the automated email that I showed you, right? Showed you how to do that in the previous slide. And I send them an email saying hello and asking questions about their LinkedIn profile and what they do and stuff. So I send them 2 messages. The automated message, and then I send them a personal message where it's kind of like, you know, where it's like, hey, how's it going? I see that you're an SEO consultant. Where are you located, and do you have a website? I'd love to discuss what you do and, you know, find out more about your business. And then I look to see if they have any hobbies, and it's like, oh wow, you're into football. That's really great. Yeah, and you know, what's your favorite team, and so on and so forth. You want to start striking that conversation in the emails. Okay? And in the automated email and the personal email, I always promote my webinar. I mean, I not every time I email them, but you know, the first time I'm emailing them. And you know, my webinar is what you need to know about SEO, and it's all about, you know, before you sign up or before you hire an SEO consultant, you need to know the facts to make sure that these people can actually do the work that you need them to do. Join me on my webinar where I go over the basics of SEO, so that way you know what questions to ask them. Right? Something really, really useful. And it's not real techie geek SEO. It's the basics of SEO. Because the majority of people don't care about SEO. Like, they don't want to learn how to do it. It's boring, right? So here's some of the outsourcing problems I had. Because what I started to do was I hired an outsourced person to go into these groups and send the invitations to each individual each individual person. So, and it was working really well. What I did, I hired somebody in the Philippines, and it was going really, really well, and all of a sudden it stopped working. And the thing is that I feel really bad. I honestly thought it was my workers just slacking off all of a sudden, because I was getting people all the time. Like leads and things like that they were sending over, and then all of a sudden it just came to a grinding halt. And I actually went through 6 workers in about 2 months until I realized that there's something wrong. And I feel really, really bad too. But what I did wrong was I had my outsourced worker create a LinkedIn account that the both of us could share. Big no-no. It's actually against LinkedIn's terms of services to share LinkedIn accounts. I didn't know that at the time. That was the problem. Because what eventually happened is they weren't able to send messages to people in the groups. They would send them, but they wouldn't show up. They suddenly stopped and they suddenly disappeared. And you could go into their sent mail section, because LinkedIn has an area where you could check sent emails, and there was no evidence of the emails being sent. And that's why I thought it was something that they were doing. I thought that they were flaking out and they weren't doing their work. So what I'm going to do differently is I'm either going to have workers in the Philippines use an IP address based in the United States and have them have their own LinkedIn account that I don't even dabble with. Chances are what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire workers in the United States to drive leads for me. That's probably the best thing to do. And I don't have access to their account. I'm not going to log into their account at all. Like I said, never share LinkedIn accounts. And before hiring them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a test where I'm going to have them join a group that I'm part of, and have them send an email to my LinkedIn account. So that way I can see if it goes through or not. And if it doesn't go through, then there's some sort of problem with their account. Kevin, that's awesome. Kevin says he has someone in the Philippines sending messages right now. That's great. That's great. I'm glad I hope these tips help you out, because those were the roadblocks I was having. So let's talk about webinars now. The big topic, right? And when I first created my group, what I was doing live webinars every 2 weeks, which was really cool. But the problem was I had to start automating the webinars. And the reason why, because I was only receiving like 1 to 2 people on the webinar. And it's always like really sad when you're doing a webinar and there's only 1 person there and you're in the middle of your presentation and all of a sudden they leave. It's like, what are you doing the webinar for then? You're doing the webinar without an audience. So and the number one reason why people weren't attending the webinar is, of course, people are busy, and they couldn't schedule the time that they had for the webinar. They have work, they have to pick up the kids from soccer practice, whatever it was. They're constantly busy. And that's the reason why the majority of the people weren't on the webinar. So my automated webinar takes care of that, because it runs 3 times a day, every day. So it's all about set it and forget it. And my automated webinar helps free up my time, and it helps more people to see my webinar at a time that's actually convenient for them. Okay? And you always get that question where it's like, well, isn't it lying if you're taking them to a replay of a webinar? And the thing is, I'm not telling them it's a live webinar, so there's no lying. I'm just telling them, you know, come to my webinar at this time. And this was another problem that I had. One of my accounts was limited, one of my LinkedIn accounts. And one thing that I found out later on, of course, was you're only supposed to have one LinkedIn account for starters. But I have two separate things that I deal with. I deal with my SEO business, and I'm also driving leads for a client of mine using the same exact system. So what I did is I opened a new account for lead generation in the video niche, and I created a group and I started emailing people to invite them to my group, and I was only able to email some of the groups, and other groups the emails never went through. And you could tell because, you know, you start emailing people, and after 100 emails, if no one's joining your group, that's a red flag. You should be receiving at least like 2 to 3 people signing up for your group every 100 messages you send out. That's a pretty realistic thing right there. So I actually got in touch with Greig, and he said that he had no idea. He's never heard of that happening. And I contacted another LinkedIn expert, and she didn't know either. She suggested for me to contact LinkedIn directly. So I sent him an email, and I just told him, you know, I ran into this really weird thing. And here's the email, by the way. I belong to 2 groups, and one of the groups I could send emails out to these people and it goes through okay, but the rest of the groups it never goes through. And so that's the email there. So they got back to me and they said, you know, thanks for reaching out. You know, provide me some of the names of the people and the name of the group. So I told them, you know, Fitness 2.0. One of the people that I emailed and it didn't go through is Kim Ray. And the reason why I knew it wasn't going through, I sent her an email and I went into my sent account, and like I told you before, there was no evidence of the email going out whatsoever. So I told him that, and he got back to me, and he said, you know, everything seems to be okay. Can you provide me a screenshot on how you're sending an email? He just wants to make sure that I was doing it correctly. So I sent him a screenshot, and he said, you know, I tested the issue, and I tried to email myself, and I haven't received a message, so I'm going to have this checked out by our other department, our engineers and stuff. So, and I was a little paranoid about emailing him because I was afraid that what I was doing was something bad, and that's the reason why my account was limited or something like that. So I was really like wary of contacting LinkedIn directly, and then realized that it's not much of a big deal. And eventually he got back to me and he said, you know, the system limits the number of group invitations and messages to fellow group members that could be sent initially, and this helps avoid sending messages that could be perceived as spam. But you should be able to send your remaining group invitations over the span of the next few weeks. So the problem was fixed. So if you have that problem, reach out to them. Don't be afraid, okay? Because what you're doing is you're adding connections. You're having them join your group. Okay? It's not spamming. Okay? So in other words, if you have a new LinkedIn account, you might encounter this problem. And if so, I mean, just, you know, don't be afraid to contact support. My other account, like I said, I've had for over 4 years, and I've never had that problem. So some of the things I've done, you know, one of those things, people tell you to go to LinkedIn Answers and answer questions. Okay, I've done that. I've answered a lot of questions. I've asked a lot of questions. I've gone to other groups and I've provided amazing content. Okay, somebody had something about outsourcing not too long ago. I have an interview I did with John Jonas, and I attached it, and I gave them a bunch of advice on finding people in the Philippines. I've dabbled with LinkedIn Signals. LinkedIn Signals is kind of set up where it's kind of like the Twitter of LinkedIn. So you can see what your connections are up to, what they're posting in other groups and things like that. But the thing is, the results out of everything that I've done, none of it is really effective. Okay, I actually had something set up where I asked a question on LinkedIn, and it was just a basic question about, you know, how many people have offered something for free to get people to sign up for, you know, an offer you have in your business or whatever. And I got about like 25 answers or so. And what I did is I turned around and I personally responded to each individual person. But the majority of the people, I don't want to say the majority, but 50% of the people, they replied back to me with this very like aggressive, they're pushing their services onto me type of thing. And of course, those people I just ignored from the get-go. Okay, so it was one of those things, and some of the people, I mean, I'm starting to build some relationships with them, but the thing is, I haven't really seen any results in doing any of this stuff. So the results that I've gone over with you so far is the most effective strategies that I've had. So let's get into the automated webinar thing. So why would you set up a webinar, and why wouldn't you just give them the replay to watch whenever they want? Because the thing is, the majority of the people, if you send them the replay, they're not going to watch it, okay? If you have a specific date and time for them to watch, they're more committed to sitting down and watching it. They'll actually sit down and they're like, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. All right, I'm going to clear my calendar for an hour so that way I could watch this webinar. And they'll put the phone on mute, they'll you know, drop off the kids early or whatever, and they'll sit down and they'll commit the time to watching it. Whereas if you send a webinar replay, they may watch it for 5 minutes and hit pause, and then watch another 5 more minutes and hit pause, and they get distracted by the phone and so on and so forth, and it goes on, right? Would you agree with me? Oh, Kevin said, this happened to me. My VA was sending 250 messages a day. I sent them a message the other night, and now it's not limited. See, LinkedIn, they don't mind you sending these messages. So that's great. That's good to know, because now I'm seeing another person that this has happened to that resolved the problem. So like I said about the automated webinars, it makes it more of an event than just a replay. So first off, of course, you need to create a presentation, right? When you're getting into you know, setting up your webinar. And here's some things that you should have in your webinar. You want to have an introduction and what's going to be covered in the webinar, your story and why they should listen to you. Testimonials, add a good amount of testimonials, success stories from our customers, and just great stuff like that, and good solid information that teaches them something, okay? You want them to walk away, even if they don't do business with you, you want them to walk away with enough information where they could take it and hire somebody else or whatever, even though you don't want them to hire somebody else, but... And then at the end, you want to have some sort of product promotion, a call to action, and scarcity. Okay, and the way I use scarcity in the webinar, I say, okay, in this webinar, there's only a limited amount of spots available for us to take conference calls with you. And please don't take any offense if we can't work with you. Just because, you know, you might not be the right fit for us. But or you know, we just ran out of you know, spots and to take your conference call, but don't worry, because there'll be a spot available, you know, some other day. So it's kind of adding that scarcity where it's like, you better set up this conference call now or else you may not talk to them. Okay, and that gets them just moving a lot faster, on getting in touch with you. So, and you just record your webinar. You can either do it as a live webinar with like GoToWebinar, or you could just record it without an audience. And the way I had it was I did a live webinar and I recorded it on GoToWebinar. And I'm on a Mac, so I use ScreenFlow, and ScreenFlow costs about $97, so it's really cheap, and it's really, really good. Or if you have a PC, you can use Camtasia, which costs about $500. I have Camtasia as well, and I have to tell you that ScreenFlow for Mac, in my opinion, is a better way to go. It's a lot easier to use. So once you record the webinar, all you do, you set up the automated webinar. And the way I do it is the coolest and easiest way is using Easy Webinar plugin. How many have heard of Easy Webinar plugin? All right, quite a few of you. All right, excellent. So the thing is, not only does it do the job, but it's really, really inexpensive as well. Okay, we had some technical issues here. I was having a problem with the audio, so let me continue. This is the Easy Webinar plugin, so it's easy to install. Once you install it, what you do is you go here, you click Create Webinar, and this is where you go and you click Create Webinar. You can make some adjustments here. This is the webinar that I have stored already, and for the email. And for the web address here. So you just go create webinar, and this is the inside of the plugin. So you have webinar event, you have registration page, presenter information, thank you page, and the thing that's amazing about this plugin is it does all of that. It creates a thank you page, it creates a registration page for you. It does a whole bunch of really cool stuff where if somebody, once they sign up, you can have it set up where it says, hey, thanks for signing up for our webinar. If you click the like button to your Facebook page or retweet this webinar, I'll give you this free bonus of this PDF report. And once they click on it, it automatically has a pop-up where they could download the bonus. It's really, really cool. So let me get into everything. So with the webinar event information thing, you just add, what you need to know about SEO or whatever the name of your webinar is. And they have videos here too. So if you ever get mixed up on something, you just click here and you watch the video. So I have what you need to know about SEO, and the sub-headline is what to look out for before hiring an SEO company. So with the registration page, you set it up. You can upload an image here, or you could put the URL there, and you add the description here. And so, want to educate yourself about search engine optimization. You know how important SEO is to get traffic to your website, so on and so forth. So you try to get them to sign up for your webinar. And you add an image. You can also add a video too, which I'm actually working on a video to add to it, because it'll look a lot nicer and it'll have a better call to action if I have a video. So with the presenter information, you just click on that, and it's optional whether or not you want the presenter information on your page or not, which in this example, I put yes, and I put a little brief description about me, and I put a picture of myself in there. So the thank you page, once they sign up, they get, hey, thanks for signing up, get my guide to A to Z, guide to outsourcing, and MP3 by clicking Facebook, Twitter, or Google+, and then like I said, then it pops up. Right now I have it disabled, so it's real simple, whether or not you want it enabled or disabled. And like I said, there's videos here in case if you get stuck on something. And you set up the webinar date and time. So the way I have it is it's set up every day. It runs 3 times a day, and I have it set for 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. Select webinar days to show. I put 3 days. So they could either sign up today or tomorrow or the next day. And you can set it up any way you want. And you can even set it up where you can, I think you could do it in this window here, where you could actually exclude days that the webinar plays. And you can even have it set up where the webinar will actually end and they can't sign up for it anymore. Really, really cool stuff. So here's the webinar event page information. You can add the video here. If you want to have it on YouTube, you can add the YouTube video here. I use Amazon S3, and you tell the plugin what the video length is. For here, I have 42 minutes and 37 seconds. And somebody was asking about the chat box. How do you make it set up where it looks like if they have a question that they can ask a question there for the Q&A session. So you can have a chat box set up and you can put enable or disable, and the way it's set up, it says add your questions here. So they add the question and an email is sent to you to show you that someone has a question, then you can respond back. So, and this part's really, really cool. I was talking about the scarcity feature that I have on there, and I have it enabled. So after 36 minutes, what happens is a scarcity box comes down. And remember, I was saying the first 5 people that get in contact with us will be able to set up your conference call with us. And this is on a first come first served basis because there's only so many slots available that we could take your call. So please don't take any offense if it fills up and we're not able to take the phone call with you. We will have other slots open sometime in the near future. So then that scarcity box pops up, and what it says, it actually counts down. So it says only 5 remaining, and then it'll count down. Then it says only 4 remaining, then it'll count down, only 3 remaining, so on and so forth. So it's really, really cool. And then once it's back to 0, the scarcity box disappears by itself. And the list of attendees, you can set it up where it looks like you have other people watching the webinar, so that way they don't feel like they're the only ones on the webinar. We have Michael and Allison and Lisa, and it's really, really cool because what happens is they show up to the webinar and they see there's only like 3-4 people in attendance, and then all of a sudden they see there's 5 people, and then 6 people, and 7 people, and 8 people, and it builds up from there. So it looks like people are jumping on. And it's a really neat feature. Some people are kind of like weary about it because they feel that it's faking out the person that's on the webinar, which it's entirely up to you. I have it enabled and it works really well. So here's some of the templates that they have to offer. So once you have it set up, you could choose one of these templates as your webinar broadcast event, and I'll show you a better screenshot of it, but you have several choices. And for email notification, this part is great because you can set up your Aweber account with your email notification system, and I have it set up for both. So what the plugin does, once they sign up, the plugin actually emails them the confirmation, and it actually emails them all the webinar details, and it says be sure to show up at 3 o'clock or whatever. And if they actually click on that link too early, they're taken to a countdown page that shows how many minutes or how many hours before the actual webinar. So that way they're not able to log in early and see the webinar early. Okay? And plus, on top of this, because it's linked with Aweber, not only did they sign up, but now they're automatically signed up to your email list as well. So this is what the email looks like when it's sent out. It says your seat has been reserved. It'll have the webinar event and the topic here, and it'll have their name. So it's like, David, thanks for signing up. Here's the details. Here's the webinar link, and the link will be there, and then you can add whatever you want there, and it'll have the date and the time and you as the presenter. And for automated webinars and for the email system, you can have it set up where it emails them one day before. I have it set up where it sends 2 emails. One day before if they signed up a day early, and 2 hours before the webinar. And it'll automatically send that. So here's the squeeze page. This is stretched out a bit. I'm going to add a video here instead. So I just need to make some adjustments here. And I'm going to have a call to action saying, hey, thanks for being on my page. Be sure to select your desired date and your time, and be sure to add your name and your email address, and we'll get you on that webinar right away. So once they log into the webinar, this is what it looks like. Here's the people that show up, and you see there's 20 people here. I have the webinar presentation information about me, and I need to fix that picture there. So here's the webinar, and they can actually pull to a full screen, and if they have any questions about the webinar, they put their name, their email address, and then they type, hey, what about this and that and that, and then they hit send, and it goes to your email address, so that way you can answer that question as soon as possible. Why automated webinars? Well, as I mentioned before, I was doing live webinars for my LinkedIn group, but the #1 problem was getting everyone to the webinar on the date and time that I had. And not only did automated webinars help get those people onto the webinar when it was convenient for them, but it actually freed up a lot of my time too. So with Easy Webinar plugin, it's extremely easy to set up. It works with WordPress. It automatically creates opt-in pages. It works with Aweber. It works with GetResponse, Infusionsoft, and many more. And that was one of the questions I had. So it's Aweber, GetResponse, Infusionsoft, and I'm not sure what other ones it works with. I would go to the Easy Webinar plugin, or go to Google and type Easy Webinar plugin, Aweber, GetResponse, and see what comes up. And you can set it up so when they sign up for your webinar, they also sign up for your email list. And also, if a person goes to the webinar link before the webinar, like I said before, it's going to take them to a countdown page. So they're not going to be able, if the webinar is at 3 o'clock and they log in at 2:50, they're not going to be able to watch the webinar early. So, and as I said before, you can set up an audience, so when someone logs in, they see other people are attending the webinar. And you can also add scarcity to the webinars and time it out, like I talked about before. And the really cool part is you could also use a RTMP streaming video too. And what that means, if somebody was to jump onto your webinar 10 minutes late, it's going to appear that it's a live webinar. They're going to see that the webinar started without them. So if your webinar is at 6 o'clock and they log in at 6:10, well, they missed 10 minutes of the webinar already. Okay, so this software has not only helped me save time, but it's helped me from losing potential leads to them not being able to attend the webinars, because I kept getting emails like I wasn't able to attend because I had to take my son to soccer practice. When's the next one you're going to do? Well, it's going to happen in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks roll by, then a month rolls by, and that's why the automated system is perfect, because there they are. They can set up whatever date and time they want, and they can sit down and watch it. And if they have a question in the webinar, they could type in the question box, which forwards to my email. And the scarcity feature also helps them to make a decision in contacting me as soon as possible. So the countdown is happening, and it's like, there's only a few conference calls that we could take, that we could schedule. If not, we'll have to do it on another date. So all of a sudden they're jumping on it. They're like, yeah, I need to set up a conference call with you so we could talk about how you can help my business with SEO. So it's time to take action. So now that you have a great strategy that's been laid out for you, it's time to take the action. So step 1, you want to build a LinkedIn account. Step 2, you want to create the LinkedIn group that we talked about. Step 3, we want to start inviting people from other groups to your group. And step 4, we want to get them to your webinar. And then finally what we do is we close them on a conference call or meet them in person or whatever methods that you have to close your customer, use them. So you're left with 2 choices right now. Just use the system that's been laid out for you tonight and conduct live webinars using GoToWebinar or whatever system that you want to use, or you could free up your time and reduce the risk of losing potential clients by using an automated system for your webinar. So here's my offer. My offer is pick up Easy Webinar plugin from the link techiegeek.info, and after purchasing, email me your receipt at david@seoconsultantin90days.com, and you're going to be put on my VIP webinar that will show you the only traffic secrets you'll ever need to fill your webinars. So the only traffic secrets you'll ever need to fill your webinars are going to show you how to get traffic to your automated webinars, how to get traffic to your live webinars, how to build a niche-specific email list while also you're getting people to attend your webinars. So they sign up for your webinar and they're on your webinar list, and now not only that, they're signed up to your email list as well for live webinars and automated webinars. It's a great way to build an email list because you could drive traffic to your webinars and you don't have to worry about all of a sudden, once the webinar's over, you never hear from them again. They're now on your email list and you could follow up with them and you could send them the webinar replays and things like that. You're also going to learn how to start making great money doing webinars on a regular basis and how to drive traffic to your webinar replays and make a lot more money. So this webinar you're on, I brought in close to 200 people who signed up for the webinar tonight. And the first 100 people were brand new people who weren't already on my email list. So what it is not only did I get them to sign up for my webinar, but they also signed up for my webinar email list as well. And I can use the same people for my future webinars. And when I say the first 100 people were brand new people, that means I didn't even send an email out to my list until days later. So those first 100 people were brand new people who were interested in my webinar. And the thing is, I could use the same people for my future webinars that are on my email list, and I could do this again and again and again, and all of a sudden I have 100 people on a webinar, and then 200 people on a webinar, and 300 people, and you just continue to build that again and again and again to the point where you're filling webinars, and you could do this really, really quick. Now let's talk about some big name marketers. Big name marketers are going to want to do webinars with you if you're filling those seats. So who are some of the biggest internet marketers that you've always wanted to interview or do a webinar with? Go ahead and add it into the comment box, the question box. Who are some of the biggest internet marketers that you've always wanted to interview or do a webinar with? I see Frank Kern. I see Jason Fladlin. That's a good one. James Jones, that's a good one. Russell Brunson, okay. Just imagine being able to get to this level as quickly as possible and start interviewing these marketers and start promoting their products through webinars. Now, how many of you have heard of Joel Peterson? Well, Joel Peterson has made over $1 million by only doing webinars, by doing webinars alone. So it goes to show how powerful it is. And I'm sure you've heard about people who have made $60,000 by doing only one webinar. That stuff is possible. I'm not at that level yet, but I'm working on it, and I'm building my list, and I'm getting a lot more people on my webinar really, really quickly. And the reason why people are making like $60,000 by doing one webinar is because webinars are the highest converting ways to promote products. We're talking about 10 to 20% conversions. That's insane. Landing pages don't even get that. And these are possible with the help of webinars. So here's one of my limited bonus webinars. I'm only offering my only traffic secrets you'll ever need to fill your webinars to the first 20 people that purchase Easy Webinar plugin to my list. And also, as an added bonus, I have the Webinar 101 video. And what this is it shows you how to run live webinars using GoToWebinar. And GoToWebinar has no videos out there that actually show you how to use their software. So this is really, really great. And I've taught people that are just starting out in webinars. I sent them that video, and for them it was a godsend because there's nothing out there about doing webinars. And it's one of those things, it's just with a trial and error and learning here and there. And I show you everything that you need to know. And this limited webinar, it's actually going to be turned into a marketing course that's going to be going for about $97 in the near future. So, but remember, with Easy Webinar plugin, there's also a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you pick it up and you're not enjoying it, just simply ask for a refund and you'll get your money back. Also, another special bonus, I was really excited about this. I spoke to Casey Zeman. He's the creator of Easy Webinar plugin, and I asked him if he was willing to offer a bonus for this webinar alone. And here's what he was offering to the webinar. So when you purchase either one of the 2 licenses of Easy Webinar, the plugin, you're going to receive Casey Zeman's YouTube Revealed Guide. And what this is this shows you various strategies on how to use YouTube to drive traffic to automated webinars and start profiting right away. And you're also going to get Casey's YouTube Video Packaging Guide. So you're going to be able to make killer looking YouTube videos with his packaging guide and start rocking it and start driving traffic to your automated webinars or live webinars. It's up to you. And you can only find this bonus in Casey's membership group, so you can't buy it anywhere. You have to belong to his membership group in order to receive it. And one more bonus, I was really, really excited about this. If you sign up for Casey's one-time offer training after purchasing Easy Webinar plugin, you're going to receive a full membership training program to Casey's product YouTube Revealed. And Casey actually charges $997 for this full access training. And I'm not exaggerating. If you go to his page, it's $997 for this full access training. And you're going to receive it for free if you sign up for his monthly membership one-time offer. And you can't beat that. That's insane. Let me show you everything that's in that. You get the video traffic conversion system. You get the massive one-stop conversion platform, which is valued at $997. And this software has actually helped people make $100,000 or more for some of the customers that have used it. A lifetime membership access to YouTube Revealed, which is a 5-minute training modules designed to teach you everything you need to know about YouTube marketing strategies for your business. And also one-on-one sessions with Casey, and you'll discover steps to reach your personalized goal. Also, online business audit. They'll do a comprehensive analysis to determine where videos and webinars can be positioned in your own specific business to maximize your lead gen, your sales, and brand awareness. And also weekly live master power training consisting of weekly training courses, webinars followed with a Q&A session. Offliner's Dream Package, which is joint venture, and to be able to get access to Casey's $1 million resources. And also networking mastermind on his Facebook community. And so if you have any questions, they get answered immediately. And a 60-second plug-and-play video sales system, which provides up to 1 minute of script, copy, and MP3 sound recording for your product or service. So remember, it's techiegeek.info, and you forward your receipt to David at SEO Consultant in 90 days after purchase. So access to our VIP webinar and Casey's training. And remember that this is limited to the first 20 people who purchase. Does anyone have any questions? James said that he just signed up. Thank you, James. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Welcome aboard. Crystal says she just signed up too. Thank you, Crystal. That's great. Maureen's asking when my webinar training will take place. That'll take place in a couple weeks. Okay, so you'll be hearing from me within the next 2 weeks or so. And you'll hear from me anyway when you forward the receipt, because I need to forward that receipt over to Casey. So you'll get all of that stuff right away, and then we'll set up the webinar and we'll get everyone started. Raul asked, how much does it cost? Easy Webinar plugin runs for 10 sites, $247, and for unlimited access, it's $343. Stephanie says she just signed up as well. Thank you, Stephanie. Looking forward to having you on the webinar, and let me know how it goes. Also, everybody that uses this and uses this system, feel free to contact me at david@seoconsultantin90days.com and let me know any success stories or any questions that you have. I'd love to hear how you're driving clients using LinkedIn and using automated webinars. And if you stumble into something like a new system or whatever, please let me know. Or if you have any something that happened, any problems or whatever, and especially if you were able to overcome those problems. Dwayne said he's going to sign up tonight. All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Is there any last minute questions? All right, folks, I want to thank you for this time. This has been a lot of fun. I love doing these webinars, and I love giving you guys the goods. So I didn't want to hold anything back. I just wanted to deliver something where you could take off right now and start using it in your business immediately. And feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. Bye.